Good evening and welcome to ET Now Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to startups, technology and entrepreneurship. I'm Chandra Shrikant coming to you from India's startup capital, Bengaluru. And let's kick it off with a top story then because the face-off between the government and WhatsApp over fake news is set to intensify. Now, while the government earlier this week had asked WhatsApp to trace the origin of bulk messages, stating that this is not rocket science, WhatsApp has come back with a statement today saying that they will not weaken privacy in any way. They have also said that if they start introducing traceability in messages, it can be misused, considering the platform is used for many people, for many purposes, some of which could be private and confidential. Now, this, remember, is going to be a huge contention between the government and WhatsApp because WhatsApp's been under increasing pressure to crack down on fake news. Now, this development comes even as the government is going to introduce a new set of changes under Section 79 of the IT Act, which will make social media companies more accountable, more responsible when it comes to objectionable content. In fact, according to a report in the Economic Times today, some of the changes that they are going to introduce is to make the appointment of a grievance officer mandatory. They have to remove objectionable content within 36 hours, and they also have to introduce the element of traceability. I'm going to bring on board my colleague Rahul Dama to really take us through the WhatsApp response and what this means in light of their recent meeting with the government. Rahul.
Chandra, really the gloves are off as far as the Indian government and WhatsApp is concerned. Really see this in the context, where the IT minister, when he met the WhatsApp CEO, in clear terms told him that, figuring out message traceability is not rocket science. WhatsApp indeed has to deploy a solution in this regard, really. So just days after that, WhatsApp has clearly indicated that they will not weaken their privacy protection and, it's an end-to-end encrypted platform, and they will not build a software to really trace back messages because, that really undermines what WhatsApp stands for. It's an end-to-end encrypted platform. No third party really gets access to the messages that have been shared. But, this will really intensify the war between the war on fake news, really, because the government has been clear that a lot of the onus has come to really tracing back those messages. See this in the context, over the last few months, really, we have seen mob lynchings in several cities and several studies have found that a lot of these rumors were spread on WhatsApp, while WhatsApp has really come up with some, initiatives like a forward message label, also asking people to be aware. They set up a local committee to screen messages and things like that. Seems like that's not really enough because the Indian government has time and again really asked for messages to be traced back to the original user so he could really be caught hold of. While WhatsApp has denied that, now we'll have to wait and see what comes out, because remember, India is a very crucial market for WhatsApp. Over 20 crore active users, one of their biggest market. Every person who has a smartphone really has WhatsApp installed. So, it's a habit among a lot of Indians who have smartphones. But we'll have to wait and see if they buckle under pressure. For now, really seems like WhatsApp is not taking it easy. They have said that they will not tweak their privacy concerns. We'll have to wait and see how the Indian government really reacts to this.
Thanks for that, Rahul. In fact, for more perspective on this, we're joined by an expert, Sarabjit Singh, the Executive Director of the NLU in Delhi, to really give us more perspective on both these issues, what WhatsApp is saying and also the changes that the government is set to introduce in the IT Act. Sarabjit, thank you for joining us on Startup Central. That's a pretty strong statement from WhatsApp. Clearly, they are not budging from their position. They're saying they are going to stick to end-to-end encryption because traceability can be misused. What do you make of their stance? What can the government possibly do?
I would say, as a first reaction, as a stand-on policy, if you just look at issue of encryption or traceability, I think it's a laudable step because they are standing up for privacy, and the only way I think that they can actually do traceability in that context is to change the entire medium and remove or weaken the end-to-end encryption. Now, end-to-end encryption, I understand why people might have a lot of issues with it because someone thinks that it it doesn't help law enforcement and all. However, it's really important to protect your privacy and freedom of expression. And this is something that has even been acknowledged by the United Nations Special Rapporteur on freedom on expression. However, I think the broader thing is, while we should acknowledge what WhatsApp is doing, there is a problem, and it's imperative that WhatsApp works with the government, civil society, and other stakeholders to come up with different solutions to deal with the situation without compromising on privacy or freedom of expression.
Sajid, just a quick follow-up to that. We also touched upon what the government is planning to do with respect to Section 79 of the IT Act. They are planning to make firms, social media platforms more accountable. Will these platforms have no choice but to follow the diktat of the government, considering India is one of their biggest markets? So, can they continue to maintain the stance that, it will compromise privacy, it will weaken the platform?
The government still, I think, go ahead and will probably still come out with certain guidelines that we have seen in the news. However, what we need to make sure is that the guidelines or that the government comes out are carefully drafted and are in consonance with the landmark 2015 Shreya Singhal judgment. The court in that case had specifically read down parts of the intermediary guideline under which the government now wants to bring additional clauses. And the court there had, the part that the court had read down was about private individuals directly asking the intermediary to take down content. And based on the news report, that is something what the government seems to be wanting to do with private messaging services. So that is problematic. Similarly, the report states that they'll have to take down this content in 36 hours. However, the 36 hours requirements under the guideline were themselves, I think, back in 2013 or something, clarified by the IT ministry, saying that the 36-hour timeline is only for the companies to acknowledge the complaint, and they have 1 month of time period to actually resolve the complaint. So I don't know how that would fit down. But again, going back to your question, as long as the government comes out with the law which is in consonance with the Shreya Singhal judgment and is constitutionally sound, WhatsApp is bound to follow it. If it doesn't, I'm guessing there will be a standoff where either WhatsApp rolls back its services, which given India is the its biggest market. I don't see that happening. So that would be a situation, I guess, once that happens, it'll be interesting to see how both the parties react to it.
Finally, Sajid, before we let you go, what sort of an impact is going to have with respect to privacy? Is this going to be a trade-off that perhaps all of us will have to cope with? Bringing more transparency, increasing accountability of social platforms, messaging platforms, vis-a-vis privacy that we currently have, thanks to end-to-end encryption on some of these platforms.
Right. So traceability, and that's what I think WhatsApp argument has normally been, that because they are end-to-end encrypted and they want the platform to be an online space where people can share stuff individually. And as long as you mandate that they trace it, the basic fundamental right to privacy, which the Indian Supreme Court only last year, exactly on 24th August last year, upheld, that would violate in some sense that right, even though it's a private party. However, there are other options that that WhatsApp can look at, because WhatsApp currently allows you to report spam messages. Similarly, it can come up with messages where it can allow you to report misinformation or other insightful or harmful content, and that is something where they can work with law enforcement and other institutions and come out with the solution. However, as you rightly point out, traceability will affect privacy, and that is not a solution. That is basically the government shooting the messenger, in a sense, to use that phrase.
Right. Thanks for joining us, Sarjeet. We have to wait and see how this pans out between the government on the one hand and WhatsApp on the other. But moving away from that to the latest in the e-commerce space, where Flipkart has unveiled a new marketplace for refurbished goods. They're calling it Too Good. Now remember, this is a platform that they've been working on, and it will eventually replace what eBay should have been for Flipkart, considering eBay and Flipkart parted ways recently. Now they have launched this category earlier this week. They say that mobile phones is going to be a big push. In fact, this was also the first media appearance of Flipkart CEO Kalyan Krishnamurthy after the mega Flipkart Walmart deal. He touched upon how grocery is going to be an important segment, also how they are preparing for the festive sales going ahead, but he was largely non-committal about the contentious draft e-commerce policy. Let's listen in to Kalyan Krishnamurthy first, and later also to the category head at Flipkart, who will be driving the Too Good platform. Initially, this will be available only on a mobile website, but they are planning to introduce an app and through other mediums in the coming weeks. Let's listen into both these people from Flipkart.
What we've done in the last 10 years is we've built capabilities. We've built capabilities. So we mentioned this before. We have 1,500 global product managers and engineers in Bangalore, right? So they all sit here, but actually the quality standards we have, they are the best in class across the world. So we are the largest supply chain in the country today. We have the best financing offerings for our customers. So obviously we will use all of these capabilities for this business. Another thing we want to share is that it's taken us 10 months to build this offering. Okay, there is a product angle to it, there is an operations angle to it, there is a core value proposition to it. We don't launch businesses, we solve for problems and opportunities, and this is one of those. So we will invest behind this. So because of Walmart investing in Flipkart, nothing is going to change. Will we do a lot of market defining things? Absolutely. I think that should be the expectation from us. We will do several of those. Like today, like what we announced a couple of days back on Live. So you can expect a lot more of those. That's a responsibility which we have to our stakeholders, including customers. We will absolutely do several of those. We don't want to specifically comment on that. We have partnered with the authorities, not for this, but for anything, including payments before. So we work very, very closely with the authorities, and we will continue to do that. I don't want to. We don't want to comment on the specific committees and specific policies. The next 3 months, the festival season is coming up, so all of us in the building are actually very, very busy with that. So yeah, I think every festival season, there is a huge responsibility again on Flipkart to bring in a lot of affordable, exclusive products to the market, and that's what the team has been working on, to also offer a very good experience on the app, reliability of the platform, so people are actually busy with that. So that's what we've been working on. See, the grocery category in e-commerce has not been solved in India, and we are solving it. It's a very, very complex business. It's a hyper-local business. It's a very different kind of a business. So once we fully solve for it, we will actually absolutely invest more in it. So there is no doubt about that. Yeah.
There is a huge set of consumers, about 100 million to 200 million of them, who are looking for great products at affordable prices, with the same quality that you would want with a new product, right? And we want to understand how does this consumer think about buying products. We did a lot of research and understood what their needs are. And the primary problem that they have is when they buy a new product or used product, they do not trust the quality of the product that's coming in. I mean, you don't know whether it's going to work, whether it's going to have any issues functionally, whether it has any hardware issues. There is a huge lack of trust problem when they actually buy these products. And two, there's a lack of convenience as well when you buy the products. The products don't get delivered to your doorstep. In this day and age, when you order a product, it should come to your doorstep at the click of a button, right? So when we did our research with thousands of consumers about 9-10 months ago, these are the two problems that we wanted to solve, and we built capabilities ground up to solve for it.
So was that a conscious decision that you wanted to stay away from the C2C? Because that's what anyone would think, right? When you talk about refurbished goods, that let consumers take control?
Absolutely. I think for us right now, we want to make sure that consumers who are buying on this platform are able to trust the seller, the kind of product that we are selling. We do have a huge quality and audit process to make sure that any seller that's coming onto this platform goes through that. Every product is actually thoroughly tested. We go through 47 checks for every product that is being sold on this platform. We rip them apart actually and look at the hardware, the software and everything, and then make sure that the consumer, when they get it, it's fully functional. And then we offer the ability to return the product when if in the rare eventuality that the product actually has a problem, we give a warranty as well, so the consumer can actually call the warranty center and then actually get the phone repaired. Yeah.
Interestingly, this is a separate mobile website that you've launched. You're saying this will have a separate app. In terms of categories, mobile phones, laptops is first. What other categories? Is it a natural extension to have appliances?
For us, we're just starting off with smartphones, laptops and tablets. We're launching with 30 other verticals in the coming days and weeks and months. Appliances is obviously a natural extension in terms of what the consumers are looking for. We're looking for large durable goods. After a few months, maybe it could be furniture.
Okay, let's see how Too Good works out for Flipkart and if India is going to be a big market for refurbished goods. But on that note, I'm afraid it's time for a break. But don't go anywhere, because on the other side of the break, we continue to bring you all the interesting names in Startup Inc. We tell you about the best innovator and the best on campus at the ET Startup Awards this year. Stay tuned and come back for Startup Central. Welcome back to Startup Central. As promised, we continue to bring you a lot of interesting names, a lot of interesting startups, and the two startups that we are focusing on this evening, one top honors at the ET Startup Awards in the top innovator category and the best on campus category. We are talking about Sictuple, an AI startup funded by the likes of Axelor, Axel and others. The second one, best on campus, is Skylark Drones. Let's listen to the founders of both these startups.
So we started 4 years back, right out of campus. So it has been challenging and interesting ride so far, and it seems to be getting only more interesting and challenging as we go. And it feels great to be recognized at this stage where we are, just ramping up the way we've been doing things, and it feels nice to meet everyone else around who done a great job in this ecosystem, and it feels nice to be here.
All right. So, was starting up or being an entrepreneur always on the back of the mind when you were on campus, and not really look out for jobs when companies really came down for campus placements?
Yeah.
You guys started on the campus, it was natural.
Yeah, so Mrinal here didn't sit for placements, me neither. So the idea was we wanted to start up extremely early because we were passionate about what we are building. I think that is what is the core of our team also, right? So more than anything else, what brings us together is the passion towards building innovative products, right, around drones. And that's what kept us going so far, and that's what fuels our day-to-day activities even today.
How did the idea of drones sort of come by? 4 years back, it's still quite early because the drone policy has just come by, while now everyone's sort of opening to the idea. People sort of are recognizing drones with weddings and everyone using it, but there's so much more that drones can be used for, agriculture and things like that. How did the idea of drones come by?
So we had a group in college where we used to build drones, and we used to participate in a competition for drone design. So that was the background. So Mughal and I were working together in that group, and 2013 we happened to win the NASA award for the best design. So that got us thinking that we should, now that we built the drone, what do we do with it? So that was the idea. Initially when we started out, not really clear on what the market was, and so it was more of an experimental thing where we were trying to really understand what is the biggest market, what is growing, and like you said, agriculture and the enterprise use case seems to be the largest use case, which is what we have been pursuing and trying to make it happen and providing a complete solution, which is using the drones, not just the drones, right? It's about what you do with it and how do you, interpret and give insights to the customers who really want to know something. So providing that is what we do.
Oh, we are really excited. It's a big encouragement for us, especially what we are doing. Things like this motivates us to go the extra mile and deliver not only for the company but for the country too. Yeah.
All right. How did the idea really come by? AI, and then sort of look at healthcare, sort of, So how did the idea really come by? And was it really a long haul to sort of also give the time for the idea to really work out?
Yeah, so I would say it's an idea which came and stuck. There were lots of ideas. This is the one which stuck on us, and it continued from there. And it took us, yes, it took us a while to get to this idea, zero in on this. There were countless brainstorming sessions, shouting and thinking of 200 different ideas. But at the end of it, this is one which stuck.
What was the first thing that you guys did when you came to know that, you have indeed bagged the award? Was there a celebration that really broke out?
We just did a high five, that's all.
Coming to the fact that, there are a lot of startups that have single founders, so was it easy in terms of, synchronizing the best of talents and have co-founders sort of, the team come by?
Yeah, I think having more co-founders definitely helps. If I had to do all by my own, I'm telling you, it would have been a really, really big deal. It's still difficult but 3 of us, we solve different kind of problems in the company, and it has made the journey much more easier as compared to what would have been if I had to only do it.
And also brings diverse opinions really on the table, diverse opinions also with co-founders being there?
Yeah, diverse opinion is one thing, then the complementary skill set is another thing. These two, I think, factors which make having multiple co-founders that much better than having a single one.
Lastly, what are the plans for Sictuple as you move ahead? Where do you really see the startup over the next 2 years?
Oh, this is just the beginning, and I think we'll let the plans fold out and the world see it for themselves.
On that note, we come to the end of this edition of ET Now Startup Central. Thanks so much for watching and stay tuned to the channel for more news and updates.